Well, hello and welcome and hello. Thank you to our studio audience for joining us today. Oh, it is Un Poco Moss. We are coming at you hard, giving you just a little bit more as we're wont to do. My name is Danny Vegas. Danny deals once again out with a case of general malaise and just laziness. The guy is such a turd. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome. Sofi pushing up just a little bit on the day. I'm going to keep this video super short. I got a lot of stuff to do, but just wanted to say a couple of things. I know I always say that. Sofi's mom has got it going on. Thanks, Bobby Joe. So, guys, stock is just, the volume has been completely sucked out of the stock. You remember the stock used to routinely trade 60 million, 70 million shares during the volatile times. Today, 16 million shares traded. Stock actually up 8 cents or 1.25% on the day on that super moderate volume. You're seeing, I've been saying for a few days, it hit bottom and you're just seeing these guys turn it and accumulate. I don't even really think they're looking to short it more from here or push it down under 5. When the official short report came out just the other day, or I think it was yesterday, it was actually up. You can see the official report here. Was actually up to 186 million shares short, or 18% of the float. Not particularly shocking. The one thing that kind of surprised me, institutional ownership hanging tough. Basically where it was before, although you had that massive insider sell last week. So things not looking too bad. And the reason, that's keeping up is right down here with all these filings. The last couple of days, the filings from last quarter coming out, and you just see massive, not massive, but really, really solid accumulation through ETFs, index funds, mutual funds, pension funds, all these things. Of course, ARK is heavy in the stock with like 15 million shares, but a lot of funds you just don't know anything about, like First Trust Multi-Cap Growth Alpha Dex Fund. They're in for 25,000 shares. And then DFA Investment Dimension Group has numerous funds in the stock, Nationwide Mutual Funds, funds in the stock. So you see all these filings, Schwab, this is an index fund. So that's, again, why you want to see the stock in the S&P 500, because it'll get introduced to all these passive funds, which are all the rage these days. So you just have a tremendous amount of, or quite a bit of buying pressure. I won't say it's a tremendous amount because they don't buy it all in one day. They average in over time. They know these adjustments are coming. The reason I wanted to talk about A Tale of Two Sofis, a fiction so bold that it would make even Dickens blush. And you don't want your Dickens to blush. It can get very, very ugly, especially in cold water. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome. So you see institutions buying and buying, Noto buying, despite, the one big dump from the Middle East, big dump coming out of the Middle East. Another thing you see, fact versus fiction. Let's look at it, guys. SoFi was losing money. Okay, this year they're talking about making 8 cents. Even if you look at the low end of the guidance, okay, honestly, if you look at the low end of the guidance for 2026, 55 cents EPS, considering the growth that implies in EPS from 8 cents to 55 cents in only 2 years, I would still say, growth at a reasonable price. The GARP is still, the stock is still significantly undervalued. I wouldn't say grotesquely undervalued, but significantly undervalued. Now, if they hit that 80 cents, which is the top end of their guidance, keep in mind, SoFi is always raising, always sandbagging. That guidance does not include, enhanced options trading. That guidance does not include business banking. That guidance does not include, benefits administration, all these things that can come with business banking, that can come with SoFi at work. LaPointe keeps saying, hey, this is assuming nothing new under the sun. Under the sun. So, when you're talking about guidance, you have to kind of look at that 80 cents as a baseline. What if it's $1? What if tech explodes? What if LaPointe and Noto already know what these tech customers are going to look like, what kind of revenues they're going to bring in at what margins? What if they bring on tech customers with a ton of members that start bringing in revenue, much closer to day one? All of these things are plausible, guys. And management's telling you that's going to happen. They're projecting that's going to happen. Management's been working their playbook to perfection and executing, but the bears have to write a fiction. And they keep writing a new fiction because remember, in quarter one, let me go ahead and go back so I can go ahead and pull something up. But in quarter one, you had let's see here. I'm trying to pull something up here, guys. Sorry, I'm not able to do it right offhand, but sorry about that. I've got absolute tech paralysis, but I can go ahead and do it off my phone because I took a photo that way. Let me go ahead and take a look at this thing. So sorry, guys, I've got just so many things going on. It's an absolute madhouse around here. But so another thing I wanted to point out, guys, people say these analysts don't know anything. It's all a big joke. But if you look at the guys that are $12 buys, these are the guys that have sat down for days with SoFi's management to go over the details of the financials of the projections. I know Jeffries did that. I know Mizuho did that. I know Deutsche Bank did that. Mark DeVries. These guys have, $11, $12 price targets on the stock, implying, 70, 80 plus 85% upside. And these are the guys that have really done their homework. That's all I wanted to point out. Another thing I'll point out with the fact versus fiction is you're talking about growth of nothing to 20 billion in deposits. That's what drives the business. That's what keeps the business healthy. That's what keeps the balance sheet healthy. That's what keeps the cost of funding loans lower, leads to higher net interest margins, leads to higher incremental margins when they make more loans. So it's all coming together. The business plan is working in several key pieces: business banking, business lending, even options. These things are not there. They're not in the books. They're not in the guidance. They're going to push 2026 higher. They're going to keep raising guidance. They always do. And, guys, I don't know if you've looked at the calendar, but Q2 is over. Nothing fell apart. Nothing happened. The bomb didn't drop. They added more customers, more deposits, more business, more churn, more tech clients coming online. LaPointe's telling you. I think home loans and student loans are going to be a lot better than people expect. Now, Q4, they're like, anybody can pump one quarter. It's a counting gimmick. Okay, they beat again Q1. It's like I said, the freshman 15, the sophomore slump. And then when they beat again this quarter and raise again this quarter, they're going to have to invent a new fiction. These bears, and they're going to come out and they're going to go, we were just joking. Like, we had our fingers crossed. It's not actually that, these rate cuts are going to hurt SoFi. I remember KBW came out on, New Year's and said, okay, these rate cuts are actually bad for SoFi. We all changed our mind because we have to hit SoFi one way or the other. It's fact versus fiction, guys. SoFi, when, the pandemic was out and they paused student loans, SoFi looked like it was in trouble, but SoFi doesn't look like it's in trouble anymore. Look at the reality. Look at the membership growth. Look at the deposit growth. Look at the revenue growth. Look at their cash on hand. Look at their warehouse line. Look at their actual capacity to make loans. And then this FUD about the accounting system comes back. The guys who took a hard look at that, the analysts who took a hard look at that, they don't believe it. It's like Public Enemy. Don't believe the hype. It's a sequel. If you read these three articles, guys, SoFi Technologies, a rare buying opportunity. SoFi, don't worry about loan defaults, rating upgrades. SoFi, ignore the market's pessimism. I've read all these articles. I can go through them with you, but it's already stuff guys, about this business model, about the cross-selling, about the eventual margins, about the digital first. SoFi is positioned to not only win in the NeoBank space, win as a lender, but also win on the tech side because they have no competition with a bank charter. Nobody's trying to take the market really that SoFi is aggressively going after. What they call their competition, these software companies, this is like glorified QuickBooks. These payment processors, they don't compete with SoFi. They have to go and pay a bank to issue those cards. SoFi can do everything in-house through Galileo. It's a very unique selling point. It's a unique proposition. Nobody wants to admit the fact that SoFi has built a better mousetrap and depositors want to leave their money there and make it a bank, not just because they pay high interest. Lots of banks pay high interest. People like the product. People like getting their money right. What other conclusion can you draw? You're like, okay, they're spending, they're paying. SoFi's cut back on the customer acquisition cost. They've cut back on the spend. And people are still joining. People are depositing even more and more money, more and more people direct depositing, even as their interest rates come down a little bit. So why? The only conclusion you can draw is that people like the product. But the bears want to paint this opposite. Oh, it's in trouble. They're going to have to raise money. It's going to be dilutive. It's all crap, guys. It's all crap. Listen to management. LaPointe's telling you with a wink and a nudge, hey, 80 cents, guys, 80 cents. That's the best we're going to do. I'm just not buying it. The other thing I just want to do is take a look at the chart. Okay, we tested here. What always happens after you test? It goes up and tests the 50-day. So we were in this little channel the last 3 months, broke down to this lower line that it's tested, 4 times in the last 6 months. Bounced back off. We got 4 candles. This was the low, guys. I mean, we're 4 candles. We haven't even touched anywhere near this low. Everybody's saying this is going to break down below 6. It didn't happen. Not so far. Same thing happened here. Touched, went back up. Touched, went back up. There's nothing that leads me to believe that this stock's going to break down below 5. It just, everybody's saying that. Oh, it's a dead stock. They pull all the volume out of the stock. They short the hell out of the stock. Still, nobody wants to sell it under 650. I don't believe any retail investors, for the most part, dumped under 7. I don't believe any retail investors think Q2 is going to fall apart. Why? They keep adding more and more quality members, more and more quality deposits, just because they're going to pull back on the loans, just because the interest income isn't going to look, blazing in Q2. Tech, financial services kick in more Q3, Q4. If Q2 is slightly weak and they raise full year guidance, I don't see that as a big problem. But, sorry, guys, so many things going on. This chart, it's not scary. It's not scary at all. What happened here is this thing consolidated for a year up until, June 1st, and then it made this huge move up, and then it's consolidated for more than another year. The next step is another move up. I mean, this thing ran near 33 times. People looking at this chart thinking this is just going to fall off a cliff for no reason. Because the fundamentals are telling you the company is executing. If you're a bank, you're trying to grow members, you're trying to grow deposits. That's exactly what Sofi is doing rapidly. Look at the spread on their loans. We're like, oh, their defaults are actually higher than American Express's credit card defaults on their personal loans. But look at the spread. I mean, they're paying 4%. They're getting like 14, 15, 16% on these loans. Their net interest margins make the mega banks look like a joke. It's like a multiple of 3. I mean, people want to hate on these personal loans, but they're what is driving the profit to Sofi until tech and financial services can catch up. Anyway, guys, I'm freaking exhausted. I got work to do. Does anybody have anything interesting to say? Bobby Joe's here. Mustang Rider checking in from Nashville. Welcome to Hello and welcome, guys. Soon Poco Monster. Name's Dandy Hills. Hurricane Lopez, Stock Aaron, Not Allergic J Money, and Alberto Berti Avalez wielding the wrenches with the grace and acumen and only they can. Want to thank you guys. The ether between us, what it do what it does, buddy. You guys speak jive. Parker Ivy, sup nerds. What's up, Parker? How you doing? SJ Tavares. Let's F and go. SJ, couldn't agree with you more. Toto is here. The band, the toilet, Insta ownership creeping up. Yeah, it is. And it would be up even a lot more without that huge open market dump there. So, when one company dumps 20 million shares, that all got absorbed by other institutions. So it's all in the bag. None of the institutions are worried about that sale. Absolutely not. It wasn't BlackRock. It wasn't, it wasn't, why am I blanking on Sofi's major shareholder? Vanguard, excuse me, I wanted to say Fidelity. Of course, Vanguard. Multiple funds in the stock. Chris, preach it, Danny Vegas. Oh, I'm trying, like one of those crazy guys in Vegas with the megaphones preaching hellfire and brimstone. Maybe they're not crazy. Maybe we're all crazy. Maybe they're getting eternal salvation. We're burning in a fiery pit. So, say la vie. Kathy bought a bunch yesterday. Is that Jake the Snake? I didn't see that, guys. Haven't had time to check anything, read anything. Don't have any information. Don't have any thoughts. Basically nothing to say, as you guys know. Welcome and hello, guys. What's up, Chris, Bobby Joe, Connor, Dream of Stuff, Alberto, Low Country Luton Pawn in the house, who's actually a doctor. Go figure. What's going on, Alberto? What's going on? Mike Hill. Mike Hill's here. Haven't seen a few shows. Good to see you again, Mike. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, it can exactly Dream of Stuff. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Q2's over. Nothing bad has happened. Inflation is coming down slowly. The economy is staying strong. That's exactly what you want. That soft landing. That's going to be huge for Sofi. You're going to see demand for their products go absolutely insane. At the same time, tech's taking off. What do you think's going to happen, guys? It's the perfect storm. The perfect storm. And I just want to talk about Affirm. Why is Affirm, going down today? Because it's an absolute piece of dog shit. That's why it loses money. It's never going to make money. The revenue growth is weak. Look at this graph. Look at their earnings. Minus 112, minus 430, minus 700, and then minus 985. Now, granted, the last few quarters, they've righted the ship. But still, this quarter, they're going to lose like $400 million at least on less revenue than SoFi is doing. SoFi is going to make, $100 million, growing faster, growing more steadily, much better business. Wall Street at 40-some% ownership. They own 85% of a firm. It's all a fugazi. It's all a shell game. It doesn't matter what they're selling you. It doesn't matter what they're selling you. The salesman has a gun to your head and controls the market. And it's like, if you don't buy them, it's like they're not giving you a choice. They're telling you the narrative, the fiction has to be that SoFi is a dead stock. It's a bad company. But then you look at the ER, you listen to management, you look at the numbers, you look at the analysts who actually do their homework and you know what they're talking about. And the truth, the nonfiction, is exactly the opposite of that. Guys, let me take a quick break. I'll be right with you to wrap up this piece of shit here in just one moment. Okay, let's see. Hello and welcome back, guys. I'm back. It's exciting. But anyway, just to compare and contrast, why do the institutions own 85% of a firm and only 40% of SoFi? Perhaps in the beginning it was legitimate skepticism. They basically thought the company was going to go bankrupt. They thought they weren't going to be able to make the pivot. They thought that if you approach this from the perspective of a skeptic, say a James Randi or somebody like that, who, doesn't believe in psychics, doesn't believe you can bend a spoon with the power of your mind, doesn't believe in any of these telepathies and things like that. If you look at it from a skeptic's point of view, from that bullum-headed, turd Gary, who Tanner had on several times, their arguments on the surface sound plausible. But then they don't jive with the numbers. They're like, this could happen and that could happen. And how do you disprove a hypothetical? It's like trying to disprove a negative. You just can't do it. It's a logical fallacy. You're saying, okay, a company's only been public for 3 years. Yeah, it's fair to say that's not a long track record. But then if through those 3 years, our business model looks sound, they continue to deliver. And, it's like, do you want to believe your lying eyes, or do you want to believe the chia pet, or do you want to believe a guy with a huge nose and a 5 head who jumps from company to company and just says things that are completely incongruous and don't make any sense? I mean, that's up to you. Maybe you're a moron. Chances are you probably are. If you're watching this show in the middle of a workday, you're probably unemployed. You probably haven't showered. You're probably screaming at your mother to bring you a tuna fish sandwich while you play some kind of first-person shooter game, or perhaps a strategy game. Perhaps you're a thinking man in your, robe while you scream, Ma, tuna fish, more tuna. I don't know, guys. I don't know where I'm going with this video. It was basically doomed from the start, but it was a really good day when you think about it from the perspective of the narrative. The narrative I'm trying to construct is based on truth and data. And if you think about SoFi bears, their kryptonite is data and truth. Because if you start to compare the story they're telling you with the data in the ERs and with what management is telling you is coming and with what you can see with your own eyes and your own ears. I mean, I know you don't see with your ears. Stop. You can see the comments already. Hey, listen, you chunky monkey, you portly prognosticator. You said you see with your ears. You guys that sit around on YouTube waiting for middle-aged people with bad memories to make a mistake, and then you point it out down in the comments with your little, witty remarks, about my gray hair, my struggles, my weight issues. Oh, you guys are just precious. You guys must be fun at parties. Nobody likes you. Got a little secret for you. Nobody likes you. I don't like you. Not a Lurker doesn't like you. Alberto doesn't like you. Benji doesn't like you. Even the collection of misfits and turds we've assembled on this channel, they all hate you. And we're a bunch of losers. And we can't stand you. So, just take it under advisement. Just think about it. Nothing, no pressure. But, maybe the problem is you. Maybe the problem is me. I don't know. This video completely went off the rails. I had like 5 phone calls and just never really got going. The train never really got out of the station. The horse didn't really get out of the gate. Anyway, guys, you pick your analogy, you pick your poison, you pick your pun. I don't really care. Dream of stuff. I don't like that Steve guy. He's always angry. Bad mojo from him. Steve on this channel, I hope you're not talking about Steve from Tanner's channel, the big sexy Fred Flintstone. And as you know, I have a staunch record of heterosexuality stretching back most of my life, but you just gotta love Steve. I was so happy to see him come back on the show the other day. I guess it was about a week ago. He just came on at like the very end of the show, but I was like, I wish everybody well. I wish everybody success. Sometimes you level up, guys, and you leave U-turd behind, and you leave your young Canadian friends behind, saying, what we need in the fintech space is more boring white people just holding charts and graphs, talking about numbers. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say. Didn't really have anything else to say from the beginning. Dream of stuff, my kill, dude ass face. There's a lot of you guys watching. You guys are complete losers. I hate you guys. I like Tortuga de Rio because he has a fun name to say. I like Dream of stuff. Dream of stuff's okay. Dude ass, okay. We're gonna make another exception for dude ass face. You're all right. You guys make up really juvenile names, by the way. Chris. Oh, loading my overweight paddle boat tomorrow. Oh, I also have an overweight paddle boat. At least it is when I get in it. Oh, you guys with your comments on my weight issues. Oh, you guys are just a lot of fun. Let's see. Cash secured puts, always more upside, downside in the markets. At least with Sofi, I have to tend to agree with you. Brian is here, number 11. Good on you. Thank you, Brian with a Y. Brian with a Y. Yes. Chris. Brians that spell their name with a Y are twice as intelligent as those I Brians. There's no I in Brian. That's what I've often said. There's no I in team and there's no I in Brian if you spell it right. And Brian with a Y knows what I'm talking about. Did you see Tanner last night looking like a lost puppy, finally ready back? Yeah, I don't even know, man. I mean, it's funny. Like, Tanner's a really smart guy. He knows numbers. He's very logical. But people are always asking me, why don't I make options videos? I'm like, because I'm not a trained like options. I can write covered calls. I mean, that's basically as simple as falling off a log. But yeah, I mean, he looked a little bit lost. I saw people were talking about it. I didn't watch it. I don't have time for this bullshit. But yeah, I'm not going to. No offense. I mean, I love Tanner. I watch his channel all the time, but I'm not going to listen to him teach me about covered calls because I don't need anybody to teach me about covered calls. I've been doing this since you were just a gleam in your pappy's eye, you worthless turds. No, anyway, guys, I can't even get my insults out. Very tired. Just putting stickers on crap. If you have multiple accounts subbing like 10 times, I highly advise you don't do that, guys. I have a bunch of water stuck in my mustache, and now it's just an ugly situation. No way Tanner said he'd write covered calls. Yeah, he did. I think he made a video about covered calls. Subbed, resubbed, unliked, recycled. You guys realize you have a lot of mental problems. It's not just people telling you. It's like it's real. Seek help. My kid, I got to get out of this video, guys. I got work to do. It's really going nowhere. He has at least 5,000 shares. Yeah, don't assume people's position. I mean, people can say a lot of stuff and people can put up a screen that says they have this much. Like, I can show you a screen of, different people who I invest with and stuff. It doesn't mean it's all your money. It doesn't mean it's not Photoshopped. The only thing you could really prove is if you have like audited financial statements or, audited tax returns. Like, everything else is just hot air. Like, you can dye your hair fuchsia, quit YouTube, shave your head, make a video from the Grand Canyon. It still doesn't prove you know what you're talking about. You still could be a complete idiot. And you probably are. So ignore life, Brian, Meatloaf. You would do anything for love, Brian, but you won't do that. A little bit too old for you guys to remember Meatloaf. You guys might remember him as the guy with the giant man boobs from the film Fight Club, starring Edward Norton and the great Brad Pitt. A good friend of mine. Many people say I look like a little bit of a chubbier Brad Pitt. I like to think of myself as the portly Paul Newman, but some of you guys say more of a John Goodman look, a Buddy Hackett. Pick your poison. You guys are entitled to your opinions, even though most of them are very cruel, very mean. You guys were the mean kids in school. I don't like you guys. I don't like any of you. DeJimmer's okay. Yeah, I like DeJimmer. Anyway, guys, this video is not going anywhere. I haven't said anything, but what else is new? Bye, Sofi. I hate you guys. Peace.